What's hiding underneath things can be scary. Underwater, under your bed, especially what's under your carpet. Except when you get new carpet from Carpet One Floor & Home. After tearing up your old carpet, they'll vacuum and apply Health Annex antimicrobial to your subfloor, disinfecting and killing mold, mildew, and any remaining general awfulness. Carpet One Floor & Home goes the extra mile to protect you, your family, and your home. Carpet One Floor & Home in Columbia, making your home beautiful, guaranteed.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Tuesday, March the 12th. Joy Sweeney is with us today, and Joy is with Council for a Drug-Free Youth in Jefferson City. Always a pleasure to have you here, Joy.
Well, thank you.
We have touched on many different topics with you over the years. Some have stirred up just a little bit of controversy. Today you wanted to deal with, what is it?
It's one of our programs that we've provided at Council for Drug-Free Youth. It's entitled Teen Baseline or Baseline, and it was started by the Hoffman Foundation probably about 30 years ago.
It's called Teen Baseline?
Yeah, Baseline. There's a community version and a teen version.
So what is it?
And basically what we do is we work with students, and typically they're in 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grade. They're in high school students, and we talk to them about some of the consequences and dangers of drugs and alcohol, obviously, using them underage, and addiction. And we basically try to get them to think about their behaviors, their beliefs, their attitudes, and where those beliefs and attitudes come from. We start out with a panel, which is really fascinating because the panel is from youth that are in court-mandated treatment facilities. So they're there because of the consequences of their action.
And they're telling why they're there, what happened to them,
right,
and how they're trying to turn themselves around?
Right. The court-mandated rehab is obviously a treatment facility that they reside in the treatment facility. So, they have to get up at the crack of dawn, and they don't have control over the television. They don't have phones. They don't have a lot of...
Are they going to school?
No, they're not in school, and many of them have lost the privilege to go back to school. And so some of those things are some of the consequences that they share with these 9th grade or 10th grade students that they're talking to.
You're saying they've lost the privilege to go back to school. They will not be able to go back to school once they're out of the baseline program?
Some of them will be. Some of them will be. Some of them won't be. Depends on what they've done. But some of them, at one of the panels we had a kiddo who actually shot and killed someone, and so it's really tragic. It was an accident. They were high, and they were still given this opportunity to go to this rehab because they were so young at the time.
Yeah.
And some of the kids started using drugs with their parents at 5, and so...
At 5?
Yeah, 5 years old. 5 years old.
Now, why would somebody 5 years old start using drugs?
Because their mother or their father or their aunt or their uncle or their older sibling gave it to them. It's tragic. It's traumatic. I mean, can you imagine a 5-year-old? They don't know any different. And that's what the adults in your life are telling you is okay to do. Yes.
So you have some kids that their parents at 5 years old gave them drugs.
Yes. Yes.
What do you say to young people who, when you're dealing with drinking?
Right.
Okay. What do you say to young people who say, why is it not okay for me to have a glass of wine or a beer, but it's okay for you to have a glass of wine or beer?
Well, that's real easy. I mean, especially with all the
Is it easy?
with all the science that we have out nowadays. Absolutely, your brain is not fully developed until you're in your mid-20s. So the drinking age of 21 is all about brain development, and addiction happens much faster if you start using any substance, alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, any of those substances. If you start using them younger than 21, before your brain is fully developed, it rewires your brain. It really realigns the way your brain develops.
Now, when we're in our teens,
right?
I know I felt that way, and I'm sure you did too. We feel that we know more than adults. I remember when I was 16, 17 years old, I felt I knew much more than what my father was telling me.
Of course, we are all, and not
How
only.
do you respond to that when you say, well, it's because your brain is not developed fully, you can't drink yet?
Well, and again, we know everything and we're invincible, okay?
Right, exactly.
And so you can't listen. I mean, you won't listen to anybody. You don't listen to anybody. And that's another reason why we bring in these other teenage students.
Hopefully, you're hoping that the other teens who have been through this and are suffering the consequences right now can get through to the kids, trying to convince them not to go down the same road that they did.
Absolutely. And not even just trying to convince them, just sharing their stories. It's very difficult to listen to somebody your own age who's basically living in a nice version of a prison, but they're in a place that they cannot leave by their own volition. So they're living under rules and requirements and restrictions that no teenager would want to have to live under.
What kind of response do you get from the kids who come to a class like this and listen to their peers telling these stories?
They typically remember this for years. I mean, we've asked kids who've graduated from high school, you remember that baseline where you had that panel of people who were in court-mandated rehab, and they're like, oh, yeah, I remember that panel.
Did it make a difference in their lives?
In their decision-making? Yes. Most of them, did they all never use drugs? Not 100%, of course not. But many of them, it gave them pause when they were provided with at a party, the opportunity to use various substances. They would reflect back on that instance. We can't be with them 24/7.
Right.
They're going to be in situations where they have to make the right choice because it's the right thing to do. And that's basically what we talk about in the baseline panel is you have to decide based on what you believe and what you want out of your life, what you want to do to get to your goals and your dreams.
You know, Joyce, when I sit here listening to you, I know how passionate you feel about drug abuse, both alcohol and drug abuse. I listen to you and I'm watching the expression in your face. You come away feeling that you are helping people, don't you?
Most of the days I do. I mean, there are some days when I wonder if I'm just banging my head against the wall, but most of the days, especially when I'm around the youth, and like I was this morning, we were out in Lynn, when I see the young people and I see them respond and I see that sometimes the light bulb is actually going on, it is very rewarding.
Right, that you're helping make a difference in young people's lives.
Absolutely, every day.
Yeah. If people want more information or if they'd like for you to come and speak to their class or group, how can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. They can reach out to Council for Drug-Free Youth, and it's www.jccdfy.org.
Or just Google Council for Drug-Free Youth.
Absolutely. Or they can give us a call at 573-636-2411.
2411. That's in Jefferson City. So, Council for Drug-Free Youth, area code 573-636-2411. And Joy or someone will come and speak to your group or organization.
Absolutely.
Please come back again, Joy.
Oh, I will.
All right. Bye-bye.